A girl vanishes into the night. A boy found lifeless in a box, never named. A cruise ship vacation turns into a lifelong nightmare. An entire community is left haunted by whispers and shadows. These cases have no endings, no peace, just silence, and the relentless echo of investigators asking, "What did we miss?" These are 5 chilling cold cases that still haunt those who swore to solve them. Valentine's Day, 2000. Most kids woke up to heart-shaped candy and paper cards. But in Shelby, North Carolina, one family woke up to a nightmare. Asha Jaquilla Degree, a shy, bright-eyed 4th grader, was gone. She had gone to bed around 8 p.m. like always. Her parents checked on her. Her brother shared the room. Nothing seemed off. But sometime between 2:30 and 4 a.m., Asha quietly slipped out of bed, dressed in long pants and a white shirt, took her backpack, and walked into the freezing rain, alone. Multiple drivers reported seeing a child walking down Highway 18 that morning. Some even turned around concerned. One witness described the child as young, wearing a backpack, disappearing into the dark like a ghost. By the time police arrived, Asha was gone. No footprints, no scent trail, nothing. Asha was known as a cautious, rule-following girl. She was deeply religious, excelled in school, and was not the type to run away. Her family was tight-knit and loving. There were no signs of abuse, no fights, no drama, just a 9-year-old who, for reasons still unknown, left everything behind. Authorities speculated about a predator luring her out, but online contact was unlikely. The Degrees didn't own a home computer. So what made Asha leave? Days turned into weeks. Then 18 months later, a construction worker found Asha's backpack buried in a trash bag 30 miles from her home. Inside were her favorite clothes, a pencil, and a copy of Dr. Seuss's McElligot's Pool, a book her family says she didn't even own. The location raised even more questions. A child on foot couldn't have traveled that far alone in the rain. Was someone with her? Did someone pick her up, then discard her belongings to erase the trail? In 2020, 20 years after her disappearance, the FBI released a new lead. Someone reported seeing a green 1970s Lincoln or Ford parked along the highway the morning Asha vanished. But the tip came 2 decades too late. The trail, once again, went cold. What would make a child willingly leave a safe home in a storm without telling a soul? Some child psychologists suggest Asha may have been lured through fantasy, perhaps misled into believing she was going on an adventure. Others propose she may have had a secret, one she was trying to escape from, but there's no evidence, no clear motive, only silence. To this day, Asha Degree remains missing. Her case is still open with the FBI. Her face has been aged forward in hopes someone will recognize her. Her family believes she's alive, and they keep the porch light on every Valentine's Day, just in case she comes home. February 25th, 1957. In the Fox Chase neighborhood of Philadelphia, a man checking his muskrat traps stumbled upon a box lying in the woods. Inside was the naked, badly beaten body of a young boy, wrapped in a plaid blanket, left alone, like trash. He looked about 4 to 6 years old, blue eyes, blonde hair crudely chopped. His body showed signs of prolonged malnourishment. And yet, no one came forward to claim him. No missing person report matched. For decades, he would simply be known as the boy in the box. Investigators launched one of the most extensive manhunts in Philadelphia history. Thousands of flyers were sent to police stations, orphanages, hospitals, even across international borders. They fingerprinted the boy, plastered his image across newspapers, even displayed a post-mortem photo in the hopes someone might recognize him. But no one did. The boy's body had signs of healed surgical scars, one on the ankle, another on the groin. These details should have narrowed the search. Instead, they only deepened the mystery. In the late 90s, a woman identified only as M came forward with a story. She claimed her abusive mother bought the boy from his birth family, kept him in the basement, and killed him during a fit of rage. She said the boy's name was Jonathan, and he'd lived a life of unimaginable cruelty. But there was no physical evidence to support her claim, and her mental health issues made her testimony unreliable. Then, in 2022, 65 years after the boy was found, DNA technology finally broke the silence. Genealogical profiling revealed his name: Joseph Augustus Zarelli. Born in 1953, a child from a troubled local family. After all those years, the boy had a name. Why would a child like Joseph go unclaimed? Experts point to generational trauma, abuse cycles, shame. His family may have felt Joseph's disappearance was better left unspoken, or worse, may have had a hand in it. His case reflects how deeply a child can fall through the cracks, when no one is looking, when no one wants to see. In 2023, he was finally laid to rest under his real name, but justice? Still out of reach. Investigators now know who he was, but who did it and why remains buried in silence. March 24, 1998. The Royal Caribbean cruise ship Rhapsody of the Seas was just off the coast of Curacao. 23-year-old Amy Lynn Bradley had been enjoying a dream vacation with her family. A celebration, a break. By morning, she was gone. Around 1 a.m., Amy was seen at a club on the ship with the band and crew. At 5:30 a.m., her father saw her on their room balcony. She had dozed off, fully clothed, still wearing shoes. When he awoke again just 30 minutes later, she had vanished. No splash was heard, no disturbance, no clue. Amy was athletic, independent, responsible. She had just graduated college and landed a job. She wasn't a drinker, she wasn't reckless. The cruise was a last-minute decision, something fun before she entered adult life. But someone was watching. Multiple witnesses reported seeing Amy later that morning. A ship worker claimed she saw her on an elevator with a cruise band member. Another said she saw her near a deck elevator at 6 a.m. But despite immediate searches, on board and off, the ship docked, released passengers, and Amy was never seen again. In the years that followed, sightings began to trickle in. A Navy sailor claimed he saw Amy in a Curacao brothel, terrified, saying her name and begging for help. In 2005, a witness saw a woman matching Amy's description in Barbados. She said the woman looked panicked, trying to escape two men. And then, the photo surfaced. Amy's family believes the woman is Amy. Experts say the resemblance is chilling. Could Amy have been kidnapped and trafficked? The pattern fits. Cruise ships are unregulated zones with hundreds of international staff, minimal surveillance, and jurisdictional gray areas. Some experts believe she was targeted by a trafficking ring operating out of the Caribbean. Her disappearance wasn't spontaneous, it was orchestrated. Her family says she had no reason to run, no history of mental illness. She even called to tell her brother she'd meet him for breakfast, just hours before vanishing. The FBI has offered a $25,000 reward. Amy is still listed as missing. Her family hasn't stopped searching. Not for one day. Her mother once said, "I know she's out there. I feel her. I dream about her every night. She's alive, she's just not free." British Columbia, Highway 16, a remote, rugged ribbon of road stretching 450 miles between Prince George and Prince Rupert. For decades, this route has hidden a dark secret. Since 1969, dozens of women, mostly indigenous, have vanished or been found murdered along this highway. A place so haunted, it earned a chilling name, the Highway of Tears. The exact number is disputed. Some say 18, others say over 80. What's not disputed is the silence, the slowness, the systemic neglect. Most of the victims were from First Nations communities. Many were hitchhiking, no public transportation in rural Canada. Some were heading to school, some to work, some just trying to get home. Police often dismissed early cases, calling the girls runaways, saying they'd probably turn up. They rarely did. Families were told to move on, but they couldn't. Not with the highway whispering their daughters' names every time it rained. In the early 2000s, public pressure mounted. The patterns were undeniable. DNA evidence tied serial killer Bobby Jack Fowler to one murder. He died in prison before he could be questioned about others. Then came more suspects. Convicted killer Cody Legibokov, linked to 4 victims. But he was just 20 years old when caught. That still left dozens of unsolved cases. In 2006, the RCMP officially launched Project Ipana, focused on 18 specific victims, but funding dropped. Investigations stalled. The families waited and waited. This case isn't just about murder. It's about the psychology of disregard. Indigenous women face disproportionately high rates of violence, and for decades, their cases were treated as less urgent, less worthy. Investigators now admit they overlooked patterns, failed to follow leads, and dismissed families too easily. This is not just tragedy, it's systemic failure. Some killers were caught, most were not. In 2016, Canada launched a national inquiry into missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls. The final report was scathing, calling it a genocide of neglect. But for many families, words and apologies aren't enough. They want answers and justice. December 2010, Gilgo Beach, Long Island. A police officer searching for a missing escort, Shannon Gilbert, stumbles upon a human skeleton wrapped in burlap. Within days, 3 more bodies are found, all women, all posed similarly, all wrapped in burlap. A serial killer was silently using the shoreline as their graveyard. By the end of the year, 10 sets of human remains had been discovered along Ocean Parkway. The press gave the killer a name, the Long Island serial killer, also known as Lisk. Many of the victims were sex workers who advertised online. They were young, vulnerable, and for years, they were ignored. The first major clue came from the woman not found with the rest, Shannon Gilbert. Her final moments were captured in a chilling 911 call. "There's someone after me," she cried. She ran through the gated community of Oak Beach, banging on doors, begging for help. No one answered. Her body wasn't found until 18 months later in a nearby marsh. For over a decade, the case remained cold. Too many victims, too few answers. Leads went nowhere. But then, everything changed. In July 2023, authorities arrested a 59-year-old New York architect named Rex Hireman. Married, 2 kids, no criminal record. He lived just minutes from Gilgo Beach. DNA from a pizza crust linked him to the murders of 3 women, Melissa Barthélemy, Megan Waterman, and Amber Lynn Costello. But was he the only one? And what about the other victims, whose cases remain unsolved? How does a man live a double life for years? A professional, a father, a suspected killer? Experts believe Lisk's methods showed calculated cruelty. Choosing victims society was less likely to protect, using familiarity with local geography to evade detection. But Hireman's arrest raises darker questions. Was he acting alone? Is the full truth even known? Shannon Gilbert's death, for example, is still not officially linked to him. Some believe she stumbled upon the killer. Others think she was a victim of circumstance. Rex Hireman has pled not guilty. Trials are pending. And the full truth is still unraveling. Investigators hope modern forensics will now bring peace to every family. But until then, the beaches of Long Island still carry secrets, and some of those secrets are buried deep. 5 lives, 5 stories, and more than 5 dozen unanswered questions. A little girl who walked into the night and vanished, a nameless boy buried like garbage, a young woman stolen from a cruise ship without a trace, entire communities crying out along a haunted highway, and a killer who may have walked among us for decades, wearing a mask of normalcy. These cold cases aren't just puzzles, they're reminders that evil doesn't always hide in shadows. Sometimes it stands right beside us. For every case we've heard, there are hundreds more. Files collecting dust, families stuck in limbo, detectives chasing ghosts, and somewhere out there, someone still knows something. Cold cases don't stay cold because there's no evidence. They stay cold because silence wins, because the truth is buried under years of fear, shame, or neglect. But sometimes, all it takes is one voice, one clue, one share to thaw the silence. If any of these stories moved you, don't let them end here. Like this video to show you believe their stories matter. Comment below with the cold case that haunted you most and tell us why. And most importantly, subscribe to stay part of this community that refuses to forget. Every view, every voice helps keep their memory alive. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Subscribe for more gripping true crime breakdowns, mysteries, and criminal psychology stories, only on Twisted Case.